Greetings. Hello, welcome to Vlogmas Day 20. December's pretty sad at the moment, so we're going to jump back in time to November. This is a week in the life, and we start off with me trying some new Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It tastes like the ice cream of fish food with thinner bits of chocolate than the fish, with like a saltiness there, which is okay, but it's almost, I'd want it to kind of really be whatever it is. And right now I think I still prefer fish food. What do the potato chips look like?
Slightly lighter.
Is it literally potato? That must have been an interesting board meeting. Oh, okay. Can you see that? It's like, it does look like a crisp in it. How's that survived in the freezer? Thank you. Oh. 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 Oh.
Crispy.
That's really weird. I'm not sure what I make of that. That's literally a crispy crisp. Ready salted? I mean, it's a thing. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I think I want ice cream to be sweet. But I did like it with the pretzels in it. They were salted, I think. So it's like kind of salted caramel vibe, I think. Okay. Very strange. I mean, I'm eating it. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think I'd go for it again. Peanut butter cup, you know. Anyway, there we go. I think it's called Chip Happens. Not how I imagined this morning going. Raiders of the Lost Ark was what we watched, and it's just really interesting from a Christian point of view, looking at a Christian artifact. I'm Jewish, I suppose, in that sense. And like how some of it is right and some of it is so wrong. Like, it does not have lightning coming out of it, and any army that had it at the head did not triumph, even in the Bible. If people tried to take it and do that with it, God was like, no. So it was interesting that the whole premise was that they could do that with the ark, but yet the Bible's very clear that that was not how the ark was to be used. But it looks like it, which was cool to see, just to have a visual on it. One of the characters makes a comment to say, like, didn't you ever go to Sunday school? People watching it now don't have a clue. That's all to say, like, look, I can hold a conversation and I'm not feeling as awful as I was this morning. Anyway, I was supposed to be listening through the Bible before the women's Bible study on Zoom, but yeah, I wasn't going to be doing that this morning. Yes, I'm feeling unwell, I am in pain and feeling ill, and I'm just having to be okay with being weak and female. Onwards. Today is such a bizarre day. I am feeling a lot better than I did this morning. Our hob cannot be fixed for 2 weeks, but we are very thankful to have a slow cooker that has a sear and risotto setting, so we'll be making the most of that, and an oven and a microwave. So it is not panic stations and living off deliveries, but we have got some exciting recipes that I believe can be redone for using the stuff that we have. So we shall see what we can make. I have a Sainsbury's order ready to go, and I've just finished a meeting that was really positive. It's possibly one of the most positive meetings I've had because I felt so seen and valued. I feel as a freelancer and as an artiste, whatever, when you have your skills, it's just, you're always on the back foot. Well, I feel I'm always on the back foot, and trying to navigate your worth, to have someone be like, oh no, we should probably pay you more than that, is just such a joyous thing that I'm like, of course, yes, I know my work shouldn't be done for free because it is my work, my livelihood, and you wouldn't ask a plumber to do your work for free, but just because it's seen as, for some people, a hobbyist thing, it's seen as something that you wouldn't bill for or something, so it's just a breath of fresh air to have somebody talking like my work is actually valued. All is well. Yeah, I'm practicing my knitting. That is the latest. But you can see here, you know, I daren't start something proper when I can still end up with, what is that? Like, what is this? Just chilling. It is almost there for our non-hob fry-up. So we have eggs slightly overdone in the slow cooker. We have beans done in the microwave. That's too hot to get out because it was also the oven for some hash browns. We have some tomatoes that have just gone on after the sausages have been grilled and they are done. That needs to be worked. And we have plates warming. So we are ready to go. Very thankful for a bath this morning. John's been on a run. It's all been very good. A friend has dropped off a book, which I need to read before interviewing somebody. And we have a show this afternoon. The Will Khan show. John is Will's able-bodied assistant and we'll see what happens. But I will put a link, Julie, down below. And we're going to have a fry-up. Okay, so we have managed spicy beans in the microwave, grilled sausages and tomatoes, some very sad slow cookers, egg and some hash browns. John's got some toast coming, and that is how you do a non-fry-up fry-up. Ta-da! Greetings! I am living in this jumper at the moment. I feel like I get excited by a piece of clothing that I haven't worn for a while and then just wear it all the time. Meanwhile, our hob still does not work, but I have found a thread on Twitter that I saw like a week ago and knew that there was a good recipe for doing eggs in the oven. So, this is the situation. Oh, it's so bright. Can you see anything? Essentially, it's an experiment. But basically, you separate the egg and the yolk, you whisk the egg white, and then you pop that on a bit of toast, and then you plop the egg yolk back on top of the white, and then put cheese on top. I listened through the whole of Ezekiel, which is a very crazy book in the Old Testament. Like, properly crazy. It has all these visions. He does a whole load of really weird things, and that is to present a message. There's also some really familiar bits and there's some really unfamiliar bits, so it's cool when the familiar bits popped up and you're like, oh yeah, I get what's going on there, and then the rest of you are like, ha, what? So that's been a wild ride. So there was bits of it that I remembered, i.e. it talking about a time of judgment and a time of exile and God's presence leaving the temple, which is where God dwelt with his people at that time, and now Jesus dwells via the Spirit, which is what that it also references that, and people get hearts of stone turned into hearts of flesh, stuff like that you kind of recognise. It's 50-something chapters, and it's very rarely preached because there's a lot, and there's a lot of context you need to be able to understand it, where in the timeline and things I've found it more easy to hook in, but it's still not what the eyewitness accounts are, for example, where it's just like, hey, this is Jesus and this is what he did. Make of that what you will. You know, you can't read a bus timetable if you can't read English, and to be able to interpret Hebrew, not even poetry. What is it? Is it not? It's not apocalyptic. Is it apocalyptic writing? Ezekiel? I think it's just something we're not trained in, I suppose. I think I'm skipping the book of Daniel, which has more apocalyptic writing, which is what? Crazy. And then jumping in at Hosea, which is all about a story of a guy who marries a prostitute, and that was another thing. There's a lot of language that's just very high level in like intimate relational terms, and it's really interesting to hear of God's relationship with his people like in such kind of graphic means. It's quite vulnerable and emotive, and I think there's going to be more of that in Hosea. And yeah, we kind of tend to think the go-to is God is distant and far off, not that he's like a spurned lover. It's just so intense, but good, but crazy. Anyway, these eggs I think I'm going to say are done. So there's enough chat for me. I'm going to get the table ready and we're going to have lunch. Yay!